Good day, all. Thank you for joining our pre-match press conference with the captain, Jason Holder. As usual, I'm just asking you guys to give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, so we're good to go. As you guys know, Jace would have done the post-match press conference after the last match. So today we're going to limit the engagement specifically to questions about the upcoming match tomorrow. And also we're going to take one question per journalist at a time. If there's time at the end, we will take repeat questions, but England have their press conference immediately after this, and we have to limit this engagement to around 25 minutes. So I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and begin indicating. I don't really see any newcomers in the chat, but just for the sake of anyone that doesn't remember, or if there are newcomers that I'm not noticing, I'm asking you to indicate questions in the Zoom group chat. I will then acknowledge you via my voice. Once I do that, feel free to unmute your microphone and pose your question to Jace, and he will answer you accordingly. Please proceed in indicating questions. Julian Gaia, please.
Hello, Jason. Is everybody fit for selection for this match?
Yeah, so far so good. I think John Campbell pulled up as well as we would like coming into this next test match. Obviously, there's a little bit of soreness there, but I think he'll be fine to go tomorrow.
Thank you.
Question from Gavin Richards.
Good day, Jason. Of course, you're coming off a victory in the first test match, winning by 4 wickets. What are some of the areas you'd like to see improved on, as you head into the second test match?
I just think our overall consistency, we still yet to get 100 with the bat. We've had a few starts, the guys got a few half centuries. So more or less, it's just more for the batters to convert a few more starts, which we've gotten now for his test, and kick on and get a big score. I think the bowling has been pretty solid. I just asked the bowlers to remain patient, remain consistent. And yeah, we put down 1 or 2 chances in the field as well too, so we definitely could brush up on that area.
Sydney Kiran, please proceed.
Hi, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, Jason, before the test match started, there was a lot of talk about this not using saliva because it's going to impact spin bowling. Now, what was your feedback from the first test match of not using saliva? How much of an impact did it have in bowling?
Particularly the wicket flattened out a lot. There was little sideways movement in the second innings. Definitely with a new ball, you would get a bit of swing, but it didn't last very long. So I think it's more so to do with the abrasive nature of the square at Southampton. The balls didn't really hold up that well, and they got pretty soft as well. Again, it's hard to gauge it after one game. I'm pretty sure after a series or a couple of series, then you would have a fair count as to how it would affect the game.
Piyush Pal, please proceed.
Hi, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, have you had a chance to look at the pitch for the game?
I honestly haven't seen it. Yesterday it was on the cover most of the time because of the weather. Today we've had rain all day, so the pitch hasn't been uncovered. So I haven't seen it personally. So I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow morning.
All right.
Geraint Hughes.
Hi, Jason. It's Geraint here from Sky Sports. Just asking a question about sort of maybe the pressure that you and the other players now feel going into the second test. Is that the tag of the best West Indies side in a generation? How do you work with that pressure? Is it a burden on your shoulders, or does it make you smile?
It's no pressure for us, we don't get caught up in the off the field noise and, everyone talking. More or less it's us to play cricket. We're just here to play cricket. And, each individual has a role within the team. And it's more or less us focusing on our individual roles to bring together a strong collective effort. But yeah, we don't hear the noise on the outside. It's more or less us focusing on what we need to do in order to win a series.
Chris Stocks.
Hi, Jason. You guys spent a long time at Old Trafford at the start of your trip, including those 2 warm-up fixtures you had. Do you think that will be an advantage for you guys heading into these last 2 games?
I don't think it would be an advantage. You know, most of these English players have played here more than us, so I think they were still in their backyard. It's just good that we had a couple of weeks here to prepare, I guess. But more or less, it's still a level playing field when cricket starts tomorrow. If anything, England would still have the nudge. You know, they know the conditions a lot better than we do, and all of them probably played county games here day in day out. So yeah, they've got the best knowledge about the ground. Is more or less us, you know, coming tomorrow and well throughout the next 2 weeks to really understand the conditions here in Manchester.
Marshall Hewitt.
Hi, Jason. Is there any indication or inclination to tinker with the batting order ahead of tomorrow? Obviously, you're not going to tell me if you will move it, but with Shai struggling against the new ball coming at 3, would there be any thought about moving people around in the batting order? Rakeem as well, he might come into consideration. So is there any thought behind moving people around?
None right now, to be honest.
Thank you.
Zahir Clark.
All right, good day again. Good day, Jason. In the last 2.5 years, the West Indies bowlers, they in matches that you guys have gone on to win, you guys have limited the opposition most times in the first team inning to a score, I think, of 250 or less. The average score on this Manchester pitch, I think, for the last 5 or 10 years is around 350 to 362 runs. How important it is for the West Indies team to post a good first inning total and also restrict the opposition to a total below 350, 360?
Look, when you set up to play a test match, you know, you want to capitalize definitely on first innings. You know, first innings really sets the game up and pretty much puts you in a position of security. If you don't play well in the first innings, you're then made to play catch up. It's not impossible to play catch up, but ideally you don't want to be playing catch up. So more or less, we're still going through the same processes. You know, we want to post a really good first innings total. You know, we want to restrict the opposition to a manageable total, and you know, we work from there on dwell deep into the test match. But yeah, it's hard to sit back and say if you don't score 350 or if you don't get to both opposition on the 200, that it will definitely dictate the result of the game. You know, we don't look at it from that angle. You know, more or less we look at it from, you know, we're playing a test match. We want to start the test match well. You know, whether we've got bat in hand or ball in hand, you know, we've just got to start the test match well.
Thanks, man.
Arani Basu.
Yeah, Jason, you spoke about batsmen not getting big scores. So how much time do you give yourself as a batsman, especially coming back from such a long break? So how much time do you give yourself as a batsman to get back in form in such circumstances?
It's hard to put a time limit to it. You know, ideally when you come back after the layoff, you just want to get straight into it and, you know, perform. You know, all the batters are doing what's required to prepare themselves as best as possible for the encounter. And, you know, more or less it's on the day, you know, how well you fight through certain periods of passages of play. And then, you know, how well, you know, you adapt to scenarios in the game. So more or less you just got to make sure you cover your base in terms of your preparation. And then hopefully that transcends into the actual match. But on a match day, in a match, you know, you basically have to switch on to match mode where you're then faced with different scenarios and propositions as to how the game will go.
Tim Wigmore.
Hi, Jason. Just on your pace bowling, can you talk about how the 4 of you all complement each other and the different skills that you bring?
Yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction in terms of our seam bowling attack. We've got different varieties to our attack. You know, we've got Kimar, who's a shorter, more skilled, and tends to be very, very nagging in terms of his length and line. Then you've got Shannon, who's a tearaway quick, who can rattle top orders, but also come back and hit a really hard length consistently. Azar is a younger coming fast bowler. He's got some pace. You know, he does a bit with the ball as well too. And then you've got myself with my height. You know, my ability to bowl longer spells and really plug up one end, and also be a wicket-taking threat. So I think the complement of fast bowlers that we've got now really complements each other quite well, and we've been able to get some really solid results just on the back of consistency. and being as disciplined as we have been in the last couple of years.
Lennox Aldred.
Hi, Jason. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Great. All right. One question. The West Indies, they're pretty much on the verge of winning a test series. I mean, it's unbelievable to be saying this, but are the guys G'd up knowing that they're just one test win away from winning a test series in England in some 30-odd years? Are they ready for it?
I'm not sure like the words you use in terms of unbelievable, but look, the series is still wide open. You know, there's 10 days of cricket left. As I said in the last press conference, you know, it's one day at a time for us. You know, and England is a very good cricket team. You know, they've got some world-class players, so we've got our work cut out in order to win another game. But I don't get too far behind of ourselves. You know, this group to me has done an outstanding job, not only in this test series so far, but in the last couple of years in terms of our results. You know, so again, I don't like the word you use in terms of unbelievable, but if that's the word you choose to use, but fair enough.
All right.
Hi, Jason. Shai Hopes, obviously, his form has not been too good over the past couple of years in Test cricket. How's he looking in the nets? And have we reached the point where he sort of needs to score this week or next to keep his place in the side in the long term?
Look, going into a test series, you know, you want to give a player as much confidence as you possibly can. You know, I don't look at whether you want to drop and select somebody else. You know, more or less, you know, you've got a core group of guys which you give every added confidence and boost to in order for them to go and perform. You know, the great thing about this side is that we've been together now for a while. You know, one or two players have come in and one or two players have fallen away, but more or less the nucleus of the squad has been the same. And all I really want to do is just keep encouraging our guys. Shai is a quality player. We've seen that particularly last time we came here in England. And then obviously in his one-day form has been his one-day form has been really good. So again, I've got all confidence that Shai Hopes will deliver. You know, he just needs to get himself in, get himself going, and he's going to go big for us.
Thanks.
One question from Anmar.
Hi, good morning, Jace. Anmar Goodrich Boys from your hometown paper, The Nation.
How you going?
I'm all right, mate. Just a two-part question from me. Given the advantage with the 1-0 series lead, how critical is it for the West Indies to close out this series? And I want to know if the approach will be different, given that Joe Root will be back for England, considering that the England top order struggled against our bowling.
Look, Amar, it's a series that we're playing. You know, whether we're playing against Bangladesh, Pakistan, England, or Australia, is a series. And whenever we start a series, we want to win the series. You know, winning the first test match is just one piece to the puzzle. You know, we've got 2 other games to play, and we don't get ahead of ourselves, to be honest. That's the last thing that we could ever do in terms of getting complacent and getting too far ahead. So more or less, again, all I've said before is us starting fresh. You know, 10 solid days of cricket. You know, basically repeating myself when it comes to our outlook on this series. Yes, we've won one game, but that doesn't change anything for us and our strategies into executing our team plans. So having Joe Root coming back in for England again is an added boost. He's a world-class player. You know, they've got world-class players, as I've always said, and they're a top cricket side, you know, especially in their backyard. So if we're going to win a series here, we've got our work cut out. We've got to play some solid cricket, but not playing solid cricket for one game. We've got to back it up. And this is the second test match that's come. The last test match is Southampton's gone. So all to play for here in the second one.
Thanks a lot, Jason, and all the best, mate.
Thank you.
Seeing 2 more indications of questions in the chat, and we'll now go to Philip Spooner.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning, everyone. Jason, last night you had the opportunity to speak to 3 prime ministers across the Caribbean on a radio show, Mason and Guest in Barbados. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? You know, what it was like to be, you know, the whole Caribbean, you know, coming together to give your team so much support in this quest to retain the Wisden Trophy. I mean, I could be wrong, but I can't recall a situation where 3 prime ministers actually engaged the West Indies captain in conversation for a very long time. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then the second question, which is a bit strange, might be seen as strange, who are you backing in the NBA playoffs? You know you're a big basketball man.
In terms of the interaction last night with the Prime Ministers on Mason and Guest, to me it was great. The reception that we got, not only particularly from the heads of government, but the people of the Caribbean has been tremendous. You know, this COVID period has really, you know, put a damper on things for the world per se, and you know, things like cricket, especially in the Caribbean, unified the Caribbean, and it's really good to see how many hearts we've really pleased in the Caribbean so far. But in order to take it a step further, you know, they all want us to win this series, so we've got a lot more to play for. And to be on the show last night with the 3 Prime Ministers, it was great knowing that they are 100% behind us. You know, great knowing that they, you know, pay so much attention to it. Like, you know, I was actually blown away and amazed at how much they actually followed it, how closely they followed it. So it just says a lot about our Caribbean people, you know, and it's great, again, wants to have the support. But again, your second part of the question, you know me straight through spoons, LeBron James fan all the way. So wherever he goes, I'm backing. So I guess it's LA is Lakers, that is.
Thank you, Captain, and all the best for the next test match and the third as well.
Jomi, please proceed. Jomi, we're not hearing you. I'm not sure if you have any difficulties, but we're going to move on to Nagraj.
Afternoon, Jason. I don't know if can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, quick question. The Spoons just said about the Prime Minister's calling you and wishing you luck. Have you, in the last 2 days, used the word history in the dressing room? Since you stand on the cusp of history, if you win this series, it will be the first time West Indies would have won an away series since 1995 in a 2-match series. And if it goes to 3-match series, it's 1992-93. I know that you use the word, you didn't like the word unbelievable used by another journalist. So how do you look at it?
No, I haven't mentioned anything about history to the guys. You know, again, it's hard for us to get caught up in the peripheral stuff. You know, we're here to play cricket, you know, and we're here to win this series. You know, as I've said time and time again, for us to study and take on the stuff irrelevant to us, and you know, more or less things that we don't have control over. You know, to me, it makes no sense. You know, so more or less we've got control of the cricket we play. You know, so that's the only thing I'm going to shove to the guys. You know, I'm going to spoon feed them with. More or less, it's just how are we going to win a cricket game? You know, what do we need to do in order to win a cricket game? And you know, once the guys share as much information together, you know, to get that end result, you know, more or less afterwards we can look back and we can, you know, feel pleased with whatever we achieve as a group.
Thank you.
One question from Mariah Ramarak.
Jason, Mariah here from Sportsmax. So what I've noticed is, you know, you've matured as a player. And when I say that, I mean in your mentality. I remember when the captaincy was taken away from you for the ODI, you know, many people were obviously saying the world of things. Now you're you know, doing extremely well in tests. You're just breaking new records, setting new records. What helps you where that mental process is involved? You know, how do you improve that?
I spoke earlier about controlling things I can control. And the things I can't control, I just try to put out of my mind and put out of my prospect.
But that's not as easy as it seems.
No, it's not, you know, but for me, I find my different comfort zones. You know, I've got those people around me who, you know, I tend to lean on. When I'm back in Barbados, I play lots of golf, you know, which takes my mind completely off of cricket. You know, when I finish cricket, finish a day's play, you know, I don't want to see or hear anything about cricket. You know, I'm not one of those persons to go back and watch footage and listen to calling programs or read newspapers. To me, I don't have that kind of time, you know. More or less, it's just take my mind completely off of cricket, you know, whether it be communicating with friends and family back home, watching a series on Netflix, you know, just anything to do to keep my mind off cricket, you know, I would do. And even in between games, you know, I don't spend time dwindling or studying cricket, you know, over the top. You know, yes, you've got times where you reflect, and I definitely do reflect and see where I can touch upon. But more or less for me, any opportunity I get to take my mind off cricket, I try to capitalize on. But I think what has worked for me primarily in the past or the recent past is just understanding myself a bit more. Understanding when I'm under stress, how I react. Understanding myself when I'm actually doing well. My mannerisms, my thought processes, and once I've understood that, then I could know how to relate in certain scenarios. So again, it's been a long road in terms of building my mental strength, and I can't put my hand on pinpoint one particular area, but it takes time. But for me, the key is just knowing yourself, and I know for sure I can be one of those persons swallowing cricket day in, day out. And a lot of people ask me what I'm going to do after cricket, but I know 100% sure I don't want to be traveling around day in, day out with cricket after I finish playing cricket. More or less just sitting back, relaxing and enjoying life.
Okay, thanks for that. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, guys, now we're going to move on to repeat questions. We have less than 5 minutes left in the engagement. I'm going to encourage you guys once again to just keep it based on tomorrow's match. As we've had a lot of media engagements with Jason in the past, I'm sure we'll have a lot more in the future. So we'll go to Gavin Richards and then we'll finish up with a question from Shai Hopes.
Thanks, Dario. Jason, the ICC Reliance Test Rankings released this week puts you now at number 2 in terms of Test bowling rankings. What does that mean to you now? I believe that you're probably the highest ranked bowler since Courtney Walsh about 20 years ago. Talk to us about that. What does that mean to you?
Doesn't mean anything, to be honest. I'm not sure if you would have followed previous interviews or press conferences, but I don't think the rankings say much. The rankings are there, but people still form their opinions, write their stories, and talk based on their personal opinions and their favoritism. So I'm neither here nor there. My focus is to get West Indies team back to the top. And that's the only ranking for me that matters. The individual rivalries and the individual battles to me don't really do justice to what we're here to do. We're just here to win a series. So I hope that answers your question.
All right, and Zahir has indicated that his question has been answered, and therefore we're at the end of this media engagement with the captain Jason Holder, which is a match preview for the test match starting tomorrow. The second test match in the Raise the Bat series between the West Indies and England on the Sandals Tour of England 2020. Once again, and as usual, I want to thank you guys for the coverage offered to the West Indies cricket team during this entire historic tour that we've been on in England. We're looking forward to 5 quality days of cricket coming over the next 5 days. Hopefully the weather permits. And we want to thank the captain Jason Holder for joining us today. Jason,
thank you.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining. As usual, you can email me for requests for the audio or video. If you're in either of the WhatsApp groups that we've created, you'll receive that via the group automatically. Thanks for your time, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right.